Well, here we go. This is the second time I've ever fed hay that I've baled on my own place. I guess Lisa and mine's place. World's greatest will get mad if I don't say that. I better watch it. This is the clover that we baled because it was so thick. It was gonna shade out everything else we had for the summer. And so we baled it, and we ended up getting quite a few bales, and made a deal with the neighbor, and he kind of did the work, and I helped him with it with my tractor, and he took some and I took some, and we already used some for the cows when we were destocking. And it just so happens that it's a year that it's tough. The drought came, and we still hadn't fed any hay this winter. Of course, we hadn't fed hay in a winter unless we had them in the pens to sell them. We hadn't done it in since we've been in Oklahoma, since really most of Texas, probably 25 years. So it's a weird thing for me. I don't know really how to do it. I tried to roll it out a little bit, but I wasn't sure if they would eat it. We were baling it just because I knew that the calves, when I weaned them, would eat it, because they wouldn't have anything else to eat except for what I gave them. And I'd give them that, and then a little bit of grain type of feed, pellets, to get them eating out of the bunk before we sold them. And the goats seemed to like it, which as I was, hello, what do you say? As I was rolling it out, it looked pretty good. It's still green. I just don't know a whole lot about hay, but we put it up green, and it still looked pretty good. I don't know, you guys can, maybe somebody knows more than I do, but you can see these stems and everything. I mean, that's kind of stemmy, but I figure goats will like that. You can still see the clover heads on there, which there'll be seeds in there. So that's a good thing for this pasture, because this pasture typically doesn't have clover in it. But they seem to like it. It's kind of exciting for me, and I don't know why, because it's really not something you should get used to doing, at least in our operation. We don't want to bale hay off of our place. We don't want to have to buy hay and bring it in. We want to utilize what we grow, and if we can't make it with that, then we need to destock. And now this is a drought year, and that's kind of why I'm not really worrying about it that much, but it definitely looks good to me. I'm fairly impressed. I don't know if you can see that tent or not, but that's definitely a green tent in there. Crazy, they're chowing down, huh? I put out 2 bales, and one of the reasons I did it too is we've got another front coming in, and it's going to rain for about 5 days. Well, I hope it's going to rain for about 5 days, but it's going to rain, and it'll be a tough on them. And I took pity on them. So I gave them a little stuff, and we'll see if that doesn't make them excited for a while. No idea how long it'll last. I just don't know enough about it. I watch Greg Christensen, and you guys should too. Grandview Livestock is the name of the channel. And he's been doing it so many years. Of course, he does it a little bit different. He's very, I think he does a lot of cover crops and things like that. Maybe corn stalks. I don't know. He'd have to talk to that, but I've seen him do a lot of what I call improved things and utilize the goats on it, or wear more brush, because that's what we have. And he's got looks like a beautiful farm, so he utilizes some farm stuff too, but he knows what a goat needs typically as far as pounds of X per day, based on kind of their size and things like that. And I don't know if it's the same as a cow. I think they say on a cow that you want to feed them 3%, but I don't really know that either, but it's something like that. And I would guess if that's if they have maybe other feed to eat, or I don't know if that's all you need to feed them or what, but we still have a lot of hay, so we'll, if we see something like what we're seeing coming, that's gonna be rain for 5 days, we hope. Fingers crossed. Then I may get out and give them something like this to kind of help them get a little more energy, help them get by a little bit, because we got ourselves into a little bit of a bind based on when we let them go in with the billies. It's going to be a early kidding year, and so I kind of need them to get in a little bit better shape. So we're kind of working in that direction, but they're helping. You can see there's a bunch of them that don't care anything about it. That ought to tell you something right there. They don't know anything. They don't know what it is. They're just like, what are they doing over there? Or they may just not be very smart. Now guys, this is not a bed for you to lay on. Y'all get off of that. Get up. Get up. Go on. Go on. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. Come on. Attaboy. 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 Good girl, Indy. Good girl, yeah. Good girl, yeah. Stay off of that. They need to eat that. You don't need to lay on that. Yeah, come here. Made me get up. Just lay right there on that. See, they wanted to eat that, and y'all were sitting there laying on it. Brother. Okay, well, this is Saturday, the 21st, maybe. Somebody said, you know, why even mention what day it is if you don't know what day it is? Well, I know it's Saturday, and I know it's around the 21st. So if that's not the right date, guess what? It's pretty close to that, so figure it out. That's the best I got. I guess I could look on my camera, but I'm videoing. Anyway, this will hopefully get them kind of going here and last maybe through this little rain deal a little bit. I don't know. If it doesn't, I'll bring them some more, because now I know how to do it. You think we're getting close? She's got a little waddle to her. Anybody want to bet they're just laying on it tomorrow? We'll see. Okay, here's a little tip. If you got an open gate and you want goats to go through it, leave a bright red coat hanging on the brace right by the gate. They'll come to it and go right through it. If you don't want cattle to go through a gate, leave a bright red coat hanging on the brace right by the gate. What is that? She's been standing there looking at it for 40 minutes while I've been putting hay out. Love it. Okay, here we are. It's the next day. It's the next morning. Actually, I guess it's after lunch. I was waiting for the rain to stop. It's the ice that was on the ground this morning is still present in a lot of places, but it's not everywhere, and it's turned to rain now, so which we're excited to get. So I'm down here fixing to feed the stalkers first. I'll get that stuff put out, and then I will holler at them, and maybe I can get it poured in there before they come, and then I'll go down and check on the nannies. Sammy, how you doing, bud? Okay. They were pretty close. I had to call them in a little bit, but you can see, maybe you can see over here, I left 3 feeders empty. And so when it's raining like this, I always try to give them a little bit extra. I want them to continually eat just a little bit more. And so I've been filling these whole things just to make sure, and you can see they had left just a little bit extra in those things. I don't know if you can see that or not, that I had to dump this morning. And by the way, this is something that I might want to do, is poke a little hole in those. But if there's any feed in there and it rains, it still gets filled with water. But I want to keep just a little bit extra, and you can see I've been doing that. And so I backed them off and tried not to give them any extra this time, because I want them to slick that up. I don't want to waste any. So I stacked it in more heavily and used 3 less feeders, but gave them less feed overall. So hopefully they should utilize all of it. All right, let's go look at the nannies, make sure we don't have a wreck down there. We did lose a couple of the original nannies last night, and I had a suspicion maybe that we may have some issues with some of them. They're just, I mean, they may be 15 years old. They're old, very old. They were in the hay, so they were bedded up here, and I'm assuming have been eating. But you know, that's just how it is. And I've watched on the cow side. I've watched what they do to old cows when you send them to the ring. And it doesn't excite me to watch that. Some of me would rather see them live their life out on the ranch, and then when they get old enough, you know, just pass. But then I know as a business, you can't hardly do that. You need, really, the ideal thing is to sell them before they get to that point. Which is, I don't even know on a goat. You guys may help me out on that. On a cow, it probably needs to be 7 or 8. Go ahead and get rid of them. But the rest of them are doing great. The hay is holding up. They're still meandering around down here. We'll be moving them in the morning to the next pasture. So I'm sure they'll be excited to do that. They will be leaving hay here, which is great. That's one of the reasons I was semi-excited to bale some of that clover, because this particular pasture doesn't ever have clover. Doesn't ever have the kind of clover we baled. There's always button clover and some other little types of clover, but not a big clover, not like a white or a arrowleaf or something like that. So anyway, I was excited to kind of get that spread maybe a little bit over here and get it started. So I'm here taking care of the dogs, and everybody else is doing well. So far so good. Look how fat this little nanny is right here. Oh, jeez. That's a nice little nanny. Okay, well, you can see they're in good shape. It's just, you know, like I said, you got some old ones sometimes that for whatever reason. And this happened to be an ice storm. So we will move on and learn anything that we could learn and go from there. I'm trying to get Rattle and the old man over here to eat, and they're over there. There's evidently a group of goats over there on the other side of that hill, and they're just kind of hanging over there with them. You can't get Rattle to leave. She just won't leave them. You got to go to them, which that's good, but it's a pain whenever you're walking. Okay, well, I'm sure glad you guys watched, and I hope that we will see you next time. I'm hoping the winter is going to be over. Ha, fat chance. All right, thanks again.